start out with primer. You don't need very much, just a little daub. Mix it around in your fingers and just rub it all in to your face. You don't have to do your neck. If you feel like you have a little bit left over on your hands, you can just go ahead and rub it down, but the main concern is your face. Make sure it's all rubbed in, and that just gives you a nice surface for your foundation. And then I'm using the Tarte Amazonian Clay foundation, so I'm just going to go ahead and dot it all over my face. This is a very full coverage foundation, so I don't want to put too much, but I do have a lot of blemishes right now, so that is what I'm trying to cover up. And I do just a couple of dabs on my chin. Don't want too much, but that way, see, not too bad, but that way I can blend down into my neck as well. And then take your foundation brush. This is the Morphe M439. See that? And you're just gonna blend in circular motions to blend all that foundation in. Make sure you get every groove in your nose, under your nose, on your chin. Forehead. You can go into your hairline a little bit so you know you got it all over down the temple. You don't have to go over your eyes, but it's not a big deal if you do that. And then blend down into your neck just to make sure that you're all even color. Okay. Then I set my face with a translucent powder just because I am a little bit oily, but this also helps if you get really tacky skin throughout the day. You just put a little bit on your brush. I just tap it into the lid, put my brush in, and then just blend that all over your face. You can do that even if you're dry. I just wouldn't do as much. It just gives you a nice finish. And then I do set my under eye, and that just kind of gives my under eye a little bit of a highlight, and I just use a white powder. Has a tiny bit of shimmer in it. Again, this is not something you have to do. It's just something that I like to do. I just realized I forgot my concealer. So you always want to do concealer before the powder, but that's okay. So I'm going to take my concealer and do my under eye area. And then just a little dab on my eyelid, and that's going to help prime your eyes for eyeshadow. And then you just take your foundation brush or your concealer brush and tap, tap, tap. You don't want to swipe because then that will swipe away your foundation. So you just want to tap it all in until it is completely blended. So just to recap, I put my translucent powder on my face, and I should have done that after my concealer. So it's always foundation, concealer, then your translucent powder if you're going to use it. Otherwise, if not, you can just go right into your bronzer, because it tends to make you look a little bit cakey if you do a powder after or before your concealer. So that's okay though, we're gonna fake it. All right. Now for bronzer, I'm using the Morphe R2 bronzer brush. I love this brush for bronzer. So I'm just gonna take it and buff it into that area. If you suck your lips in, right in there. You don't want to go too low on your face, and you don't want to go too high onto your cheekbone because then it'll make you look a little squinched. You just want to have a little bit of a golden glow, okay? And you're gonna do your hairline, not too far down onto your forehead. You just want to do the upper hairline area and then bring it down onto your temples. Okay, and then without adding any more product, I'm just gonna go ahead and do my nose and my chin. Just a little swoop, and then I'm gonna add a little bit more product and do my neck. And just make sure I'm all blended in. Okay, and then for the blush, I'm going to use my blush brush, the Morphe R4, and it's an angled brush. And you just put a little bit on your brush, tap it off. You want to make sure you don't have too much at first, and then you're going to go right along your cheekbone. If you smile just a little bit, right there. And I always just dab a little on each side, and then I blend, and then you can add more if you want, but you don't want to add too much at first. You want to do less first and then add more later. And then you just blend it in once you have it on. Blend it in really well. And then for your highlight, I use the Morphe M501 brush. Just take a little bit of your highlight, tap it off, and then you're going to put it on your upper cheekbone area to highlight that. And I bring it up just a little bit onto my temple. That's just going to give you a really nice glow. There you go. And that's it for the face. Sometimes I will take my brush that I use for my loose powder and just kind of make sure everything's all blended in. And then onto the eyes. I'm going to go ahead and do my eyebrows first and then do the eyes. For the eyes, you always want to start with a light color for your transition, which is that area in between your lid and your upper eye. So I'm going to use Makeup Geek's Creme Brulee. Then you just tap your brush in. You always want to start out with a little and then finish with a little more if you need to. And you always want to start on your outer corner, and then you're just going to blend it all the way across. And you only want to do that all the way across with your light colors. When it comes to the darker colors, you want to keep those more on the outer corner, which I'll show you here in a little bit. Now I like to build my colors, so I start with a really light shade for my transition, and then I go in still with a light shade, but with just slightly darker. So I'm going to use Makeup Geek Barcelona Beach. And then again, just start on the outer corner and work your way across. Okay. And then once that's done, you're ready to go in for your darker shades. So again, I'm going to build. So I'm going to go in with fox fur or faux fur. And I'm going to use a smaller brush. That first brush I used is a Sigma E40, but it's just like using a Morphe M441. So they're the exact same brush. So now to go in with my darker shade for the outer corner, I want to use a more dense, smaller brush, and I'm using the Morphe M433. Okay. So then again, you just want to start little, tap off the excess, and then here, we're just going to stick mainly to the outer corner and just blend it up just a little bit. And we can go back in and go a little darker if we want, but I'm actually going to be high maintenance and use one more color to darken it before I go on to my lid color. Just because I love all these colors. Okay, so the next one I'm going to use is just a smidge darker. And again, it's Makeup Geek. This one's called Bedrock. Just going to use that same Morphe brush and do the same exact motions. Sticking in the outer corner. You can use one color, you can use 10 colors if you really want to. It's just all going to be the same motions, and just the more colors you add, the more depth your eye's going to have. Okay, and you just always want to make sure you have no harsh lines. So we'll go back in and blend when we're done. So now I'm going to do my lid color. I love using a really light color. For me, that's my favorite, not a dark color on the lid. So this is Makeup Geek Rapunzel, and you want to use a flat eyeshadow brush. This is the Morphe M522. Okay, you're just going to dip your brush into that color. Again, tap off the excess and tap that color all on your lid. I'm going to do more pigment here in the inner corner of my eye than I do on the outer. But I'm going to do just a little bit, and then we're going to go back in and blend it out so we can still keep that dark shade on the outer corner. Okay, and that just gives a really nice clean look. So then I'm going to go back in with my M433 brush for the outer corner, and I'm going to take the second to lightest color that I used in that outer corner and just kind of blend in so there's no harsh lines between that lid color and my outer corner color. Okay, and then I'm going to take my first initial brush and go back in with my light color that I used in my transition shade, just to make sure, again, there are no harsh lines. I didn't put a lot of pigment on. As you can see, there's not a whole lot coming on, but it is just helping blend out those lines. I'm not doing it super neat, it's just kind of messy, but it helps blend them in. Okay, and then I always take a little fluffy brush and just kind of wipe away if you feel like you've gotten a little bit of fallout. So you do want to be careful with the dark colors. So now I'm going to go in and do my eyeliner, my mascara, and then touch up my brows. So to start out with my eyeliner, I'm going to do the lower lash line, and I'm going to take an even darker color than I've used on my eyes, because I don't like my eyes to be too dark, too smoky, but I do want my under eye to pop without using a black eyeliner or a dark eyeliner color. So this is Makeup Geek Concrete Jungle, and I'm going to take my flat definer brush, and it is the Morphe Morphe E43. So then you're just going to tap the brush into your color, tap off the excess, and then just tap the color all along your lash line. It works better if you tap versus swipe, because then you're going to get more pigment. And I do go back in and touch it up afterwards, just to define it a little bit more. But I do not like harsh lines. I like a blended, smoky look. So I am going to take a pencil brush. This is the Morphe E18, and it's just a pencil brush. And I'm going to take one of my lighter colors that I had done on the outer corner. This is the Morphe Faux Fur. I do like this color because it's a little bit lighter, and it's a great blending color. So then you're just going to blend out the harsh line and just kind of give it that soft, smoky look. And then when you're all done with that, you can go back in with the definer brush and the dark color, which is that concrete jungle, and just tap a little bit more on the outer corner. But that's all I'm gonna do. And then for the upper lash line, I'm gonna take the same color, that concrete jungle, but I'm gonna use a smaller angled brush. And this is the Morphe R45. And then I'm just going to lightly tap that onto my upper lash line. Again, because I don't want it too dark and too bold, but I do want it defined. Okay, and then to finish off the look, I want to do a highlight. This is a matte color, and I don't remember the name, but it's just a really kind of frosty cream, not quite a white, but like a frosty cream. I'm going to take a small brush. It's another pencil brush, but it's a lot smaller, and this is the Morphe E36. And I'm just going to tap my brush into the color and do my brow bone. And then the inner corner. I love doing an inner corner highlight. Okay. And then of course finish off with your brow gel just to tame those hairs. I don't have many hairs to tame, but it really does help hold your brows in place. And then mascara, I like to do a smaller brush on the lower lash line. I feel like it helps. This is the MAC Extended Play Giga Black Lash. And then I just do that on my lower lashes just a little bit. It's kind of an awkward look. And then for my upper lash line, I love the Marc Jacobs mascara. This is one of my favorites. I just feel like it gives a very full, makes your eyelashes look really full, and I don't have very thick, long eyelashes, so any help I can get in that area is great. Now, a trick I've learned is you don't want to keep caking on the mascara over and over and over. You want to let it dry in between. So I always just do one coat and then move to the next eye. That way it gives that one time to dry and then go back in. And you never want to pump your wand in and out, because that's going to dry out your mascara and not make it last as long. So you never want to do that. You always just want to go in once, because the more you pump it, the more it's going to dry out. Typically I would go back and forth a few more times, but for now I think this is good. And then of course finish off your lips. And here is the final look with the Violet Lip Sense and Pearl Gloss.